Hello and welcome to the Borealis Experience. I'm your host Aurora, and if you're longing for a place where you can rest and relax, unwind from a busy day, and just reflect about yourself and your life, then this is the place to be. I hope you had a good day so far. I hope you feel good. It's been really, really cold here in Canada, so I just went for a walk with my dogs. And now I'm inside by the fireplace, all bundled up. Yeah, so that's my life today. And I want to talk about your perception and their perception today. The day I realized that people perceive life on such different, in such different ways, on very different levels, I was able to show compassion again and to feel more understood or more forgiving when people didn't understand my situation or my point. I'm going to give you an example. Look at siblings, and when the parents go through divorce, sometimes siblings have a very different view of what happened in the past and how they processed the divorce and their overall experience with the family splitting up. It's been crazy for me when I realized that my brother perceived our whole childhood so different than I did, and it made me understand then why we are or were drifting apart at times and not really understanding each other. And as soon as I understood how he saw the past and how he is seeing the world, it made me feel so much better, and it opened my horizon as well. So when you look at your relationships now, be it with your parents or your friends or your siblings or even your partner, I find it such a critical tool to have, because then they feel understood by you and you don't feel as upset when they don't get you. Let's take another example, a couple watching a movie. And the girl is focusing on relationship stuff or the actors that she recognizes from other movies, and the guy is just focused to see the next action movie and the next, I don't know, violent scene. Like this is very generalized, but just as an example. So those two people would experience a movie on very different levels as well. And if we know that about our partner, then we know how to make him or her feel good and what they need and want. And when we show them that for us an experience is very different than for them, then we can also create understanding from their side. Then look at it as an accident. It is crazy how when different people, different parties are involved in the open, how different people perceive accidents. Let's call it accidents, something big that happens. And it is not only the perception that is different, I feel, it is also learned views and beliefs and how you grew up in life. There's tons of examples and tons of experiments with little children, because people wanted to find out why there's children that are very confident on a playground and why there's others that are way more anxious. So they let the confident children and the scared, anxious children walk over a ladder, not a ladder, like a little wooden bridge that was a little unstable, but not bad. And they observed that those children that were confident just crossed that bridge and were totally okay with that. And the anxious children were very hesitant, very shy, and didn't want to cross the bridge. And it is doctors who discovered that those children that were anxious had a way different perception when it comes to balance. They had a not worse, like not less good, I want to say, but just a different sense of balance. And this is why they were so scared and hesitant. And I know there's people out there who laugh about weaknesses. Yeah, Schadenfreude, we say in German, when someone hurts him or herself and it just looks weird and then it makes that other person laugh. A lot of people laugh about, so to say, weaknesses when it comes to physical performance. And when you realize that those people have a very different brain, they have a very different perception of heights and speed, then we all understand why some people react to situations differently than others. And when it comes to dating, I find it very, very important that when you're out there and meeting people, that you not only focus on which impression you are leaving and how you feel about the person, but also if you can relate to how that person feels. There's people out there who are terrified of horror movies, and other people just find them super funny and awesome and have no trigger embedded at all when it comes to scary movies. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't relate and start a relationship with someone who has a very different view on life or perception than you, but it just means that it will need more time and understanding then to get to know each other. And I feel a lot of the time we see our views, we see our perception, and we're trying to, like a, I don't want to say condom, like a bag, to wrap it around that other person and to see them like we want to see them. And whatever they do that is not in alignment with our beliefs, we usually ignore in the beginnings of romantic relationships. But those are the things that then later on get really, really annoying and hard to bear. And it can be such little things, but if it is so different to what you are used to, it can be annoying to a point that you don't want to spend time with that person anymore. It can be noise, it can be tastes, it can be views on religion, it can be the way they relate to their parents, the way they see the future, the way they receive news from politics. If we learn to be open, and if we learn to see through the eyes of the other person and to know, oh, that person went through trauma in the past, and this is why she sees the world how she does right now, and maybe you guys can talk about it and help her out and make her aware of it. And that's a beautiful thing, and people are most of the time very, very open to that as soon as they realize that you have a strong will and interest to understand the other person. In future episodes, I will talk lots more about love and relationship and how I feel love is understanding the other person and being curious about the other person. And this is just the first big tool I want to give you today, because when we learn to see that a person is shaped by her experiences from the past, then we understand them better and we can even help them to get out of that box. One last example I want to throw out there. Look at the guy who is into a girl that is way out of his league. And he only thinks about his insecurities and her beauty and her confidence. But maybe you remind her of her dad, and maybe she went through trauma with guys that are totally ripped and sexy in the eye of the public. And maybe you'd be the perfect fit because you could give her comfort and make her laugh and everything. But it is, in this situation, your perception that holds you back in talking to her and being curious about her and knowing what her story is. You just see her beauty and that intimidates you, but you don't know her story. And everybody has a story, and maybe you are the one for her, maybe you're not, but give it a chance and get out of your little box and be curious about other people, and you'll be surprised how awesome the feedback is and how beautiful of friendships you can build, and maybe even relationships. All right, this was the Borealis Experience. I'm your host, Aurora. Today was about perception, and I'm very excited to be out there tomorrow again for you. Until then, take good care of yourself, drink lots of water, maybe spoil yourself to a meditation, and take real good care of yourself. Bye-bye.